me out in Maryland. If you ever picked me up when I was down, you bro for life.
But anyways, man, how you been? How was the drive here?
It wasn't too bad. It was a quick little 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
I'm in Arlington, so I'm not super far out.
The show, I mean, I didn't get to see yesterday. Obviously, there was the show at Trees in Dallas. I got there pretty late, but how was the show last night?
It was amazing for a lot of reasons. It was my first show in Dallas. It was it sounded a lot better than I was up there, and when you're in that mode, you're just thinking, I got to make shit perfect. I got to have every note, everything hit right at the moment. So you're not really able to appreciate that it is going well until after the fact.
Yeah.
So then I got off stage, and then my sister and my girl dropped me some videos, and I was looking through and I said, okay, it did go good.
It did go good?
Yeah.
No, that's good, though, because, were you saying this is your first show in Dallas? You never done shows here?
I haven't done shows here, but I used to live in Pittsburgh until, a year ago.
Oh, okay, so
right.
You just moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so where were you born and raised then?
I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Then I moved to Pittsburgh. I was there for a couple of years. Then I moved to Georgia. I was there for a couple of years. I moved back to Pittsburgh. I lived in Pittsburgh for another couple of years and moved to Dallas. Moved back to Pittsburgh. Moved back to Dallas.
Is it just for work or just
When I was younger, it was because my
lifestyle?
parents they were like, let's get them in a better school. Let's just they're about upgrading. They don't like to stay stagnant. So that was a constant in my youth. All right, they've got a better house. They found a better area for us to learn. Let's go.
I honestly think it's always better to live in different areas.
Fully agree.
I've seen, obviously I'm a big fan of podcasts, so I think the most interesting people that I've met or watched are always they always say about how they've always been traveling, or the what do they call it, the military babies?
Army brats, yeah.
Army brats,
yeah.
Army brats. They, for some reason, they're always they learn from so many cultures that they get these experiences that are I don't know, they makes them interesting, I guess, just because in a way they explore everything, you know.
I think it's that, and on top of most people, when they grow up in the same area their whole life, you're hardly meeting new people. You're hardly being your standard isn't being challenged. Yeah. And then when you go somewhere else, it's a whole different culture. You go 30 minutes down the road, and the people are gonna talk not different, but just the energy could be slightly different. You have to learn how to adapt to that. I feel like being in a bunch of different schools, I had to learn okay, how do I make friends? And a mere 6 months into the year, everyone's already kind of locked in. How do I find my way in?
So did you even have childhood friends then?
At times,
normal ones, but not that one that that you got close with.
Right, I didn't really make a long term. I'm friends with my friends from 7th grade now, because at that point I grew up from that point onward in Pittsburgh, so I was my formative years were around the same people for the most part. So I still have friends from them, but a lot of them knew each other since they were pretty much born, you know.
Cause that's how I was. I mean, I lived at the same place for years. I mean, since I was. The last time I actually moved from somewhere was in 3rd grade. But after that, I lived in the same place all my life. So all those childhood friends, I still have them to this day. You know?
That's pretty fire.
So, but I would always wonder, I would have loved to travel as a kid, cause I would probably be one of the few kids that wouldn't mind going from place to place.
Yeah.
Move.
It's
I don't know if that's how you were when you were little, or you kind of hated that.
Love and hated it. It was cool to just be in a new place, discover new people, new kinds of things, how people talked, all that information. That was cool, but at the same time, it's oh man, I was just feeling I could carve my way out here.
Especially, I mean, but then again, I feel like if you nowadays, if you have to move somewhere or make a big decision to move somewhere, it's not that hard for you. As if for me, if I have to make a big move, man, I'd be I'm too much in my comfort zone, you know.
It is what it is for me at that point, because when I was in Pittsburgh, I moved 3 different times before I came back to Dallas, just because I didn't like this spot, or this price will be a little cheaper. I like the area better over here, and it just was finding that little.
So why Dallas, bro? Why did you move here? And then I mean, obviously pursuing your music. Is there anything particular, or you just?
Well, it starts with my dad moved to Dallas in 2015 because he works for American Airlines. They pretty much are they fused with U.S. Airways. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
And the merger was, hey, everyone that's here, move here, or here's severance. And he was like, well, I've been in this job for a long time. It's great pay. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So he moved down, and my mom was commuting back and forth. At that point, I was already an 18-year-old kid, so like I was legally an adult. But then eventually my mom was like, all right, we're going. Her and my brother moved down with my dad, and then I was just like, okay, well, I think I'll stay here a little bit longer. Then I kept visiting, and over time I ran into some people that also had skin in the game with music. Shout out Lone Star, Rob from Healthy Habits, and Pip. After that, we kind of I just knew it was better for me to be here. There was more opportunities, like better producers. Like nothing wrong with Pittsburgh, but like it's a smaller city. People are more clicked up with music stuff. No one's really trying to like turn it into a big scene.
Yeah, I think the biggest hype Pittsburgh got was whenever the Black and Yellow song hit. Was that the last time that everybody?
I will say Mac Miller.
Oh, Mac Miller.
Mac Miller is was like when I was growing up was one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, every city has that one good artist, right? I think except Dallas is probably one of the few that has reached that level, like that elite level of
like multiple artists.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not even multiple, just like at least one artist that I could think of from Dallas that's like maybe Post Malone, but he wasn't really from Dallas. He just was more, like raised here. You know?
Is Travis from Dallas or is he from Houston?
Travis Scott, Houston.
Yeah. Okay.
Houston, no, Houston. Yeah, there's not really that many. Like, there's some artists that are really good from Dallas, but none that I can think that like in the elite level, you know.
There's just space to be filled.
Like
you
Chicago has one. Obviously, they have a lot.
They have what? Chance, Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye. Like you're talking about like elite.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Yeah, but Dallas doesn't really. But I mean, it's growing, bro. I mean, we're getting to that point, you know. I think Dallas in general, just being from the podcast community and obviously interviewing artists, and then just going out in general to like events and stuff, you see the growth of like artists trying to make it out here, you know.
Yeah, there's plenty. Even the
there's
show
a
last
difference
night.
now. The people, I don't know like what you noticed, but a lot of more artists collabing now.
Because that's how things kind of grow. Like you got to build a community within like just like it can't just be music. Like you got to have like people that are like into you and the ideas that you bring to the forefront. And when you got more people on the same like wave, it's always gonna bring more people in.
Yeah, no, that is true. But what are some of your what's behind like your music inspiration? Because obviously I was listening to it like last night and then today, and like I was wondering, I was like, I wonder what like inspires him to make this type of music, or like where did you get the inspiration to make that style of music that you make?
It's a lot of things. Like growing up, like the artists that kind of like triggered me to want to rap were like Drake, Eminem, like Kendrick. Like in that like pocket of sound, it was like they were making really cool music that sounded different, and it was just done at a high level. And I thought, wow, like I really like I love the energy. So let me see if I can kind of do my own thing. But I was asked for a long time.
Yeah. No, I mean, shit. It takes work to be great.
10,000 hours. Like I still feel myself getting better, which is the best part, because I'll go in the studio, we'll sit down, make a beat from scratch, and like it's cool because I don't know what I'm walking out with, but I know it's gonna be awesome.
Do you describe your music more as hip hop, or what do you describe it as? So I don't think like, I mean, personally, me, obviously, I can't like think of a certain artist that you sound like, you know, which is good.
That's the best part. It's
which is good. It's not something that.
My heart is hip hop, but I just make what I like. You know, like I love a lot of like alternate rock stuff, so it's like I would just call it alternate hip hop.
Yeah, you can honestly listen to it in your music, you know, that it's not like you're straight hip hop guy, you know, you mix a lot of genres in there.
I feel like being in a lot of different places, like hearing a lot of different music and just like what people like gravitate to, like kind of opened my ear up.
No, yeah, that's true. What are other artists like, not from hip hop in general, but like?
I was listening to some Knuckle Puck like 2 days ago, some Movements. Story So Far. Just like I like a lot of different like just things, because I wanted to learn how to play guitar. I'm still kind of like figuring that out too, but I just want to be able to like kind of really like make sure like all the music that I can hear in my head I can bring to life, you know, in different ways.
Did you like that Lil Yachty album, the one he recently dropped?
I didn't listen to all of it. I won't lie. Like I think I was put off by the way the first song sounded, because the mix was like not weird, but it was just his vocals were really warm. Yeah, I might need to check it back out. But I was actually listening to something he dropped with Cole Bennett like I want to say in the last couple days. I think it was Tesla. That is really cool.
I haven't listened to that one.
You gotta check that because he's doing that like bouncy flow he does with, but the beats are still kind of like off the wall, like strange, but like locked in. It's hard.
Yeah. No. I listened to it honestly, and then it kind of like attracted me because it was something different, obviously, that you didn't expect from Yachty. But then my friend, I was like telling my friend it was actually really good. Like I enjoyed it, listened to it. But then he said it was like it's really something that you kind of listen from Tame Impala, which I'm not a fan of them. So like I didn't know what they sounded like at all. Then I went to listen to it, and it was kind of similar. I saw the similarities in it. But somebody like again that I had never listened to Tame Impala, I didn't know. To me, it was just something different that I expected from somebody that was just like straight hip hop, you know. Which a lot of artists do explore, and I mean honestly, I don't get mad at it because it's something that you kind of make a body of work of everything that you don't. I don't expect you to make the same type of music all the time, you know.
Right.
That's what makes Drake great.
Facts.
Who else that I could think of? I mean, did you enjoy Utopia? Did you like it?
I like Utopia. I haven't listened to it a lot in the last couple weeks, but I was listening to I want to say I Know in the car, and I was just like the way he structured it, and it's just like so. It was the song was like 4 minutes long, which is kind of not strange, but it's different than how a lot of people are doing like 2 minutes, 1:50 seconds kind of nowadays. Yeah. And the whole song, the entire time was interesting, and for someone to do that nowadays is a testament to just like raw like songwriting and talent.
Bro, honestly, I enjoyed it but I would go back and listen to a lot of the songs, not really, just because like it didn't really impress me. I would say that's probably the word I would use, just because I feel like it was something that I've already heard from Kanye, you know, like it was very,
it was a lot
like
of Kanye
everything
influence.
every song that kept coming up, I was like, I've listened to a song of this from another Kanye album, which it was like Dark Twisted Fantasies or Yeezus, or it was just something that I've listened to throughout Kanye's like whole body of work. So I was like, I feel like he was trying too hard to make it sound his own way, but he was going back to like the sounds that he's heard from Kanye.
I think a lot of those songs too were from the not Jesus is King, Donda sessions. So I think he like had some of those beats from Kanye even then. So like, and he's a Kanye baby. It makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, shit. Who do you think is better than? Because I don't know if they're still beefing. I mean, that shit's never gonna stop. But between ASAP and Travis.
ASAP and Travis are beefing still?
Well, I think they still always have that, you know, animosity that they get mixed up together all the time.
Oh,
they've always had that.
They've
always had that. And then also Kanye, I think one time in the Drinks Champs, he was like, Travis is just a mix between me, Cudi, and ASAP. And
he probably.
I feel like it's always rubbed Travis the wrong way, that they always.
They don't even look alike. They just have similar hair.
Yeah, that's
they
all
just happen to be black
but
guys with similar hair.
with dreads, or not even dreads, braids.
They just got braids. Yeah,
braids, right?
I think does Travis might have dreads now, I think, but ASAP just got braids.
They be changing their style all the time, bro, to be honest. But yeah, I was like, I don't know who. To be honest, both of them are. I'm a big fan of both of them, but there's nothing like whenever I heard ASAP, whenever he dropped whenever he was like the wave of all the ASAP mob. I don't know if you remember it back in the day.
I went to that was one of the first shows I went to actually. Like,
oh, for real?
Like in Pittsburgh, yeah. It was
Pittsburgh?
Stage AE, ASAP, Rocky.
I saw him in the House of Blues the first time.
That's fire.
In Dallas, and in Houston actually. I went to Houston first and then in Dallas, House of Blues, both of them. But that's when they were barely blowing up, you know. Like,
it's strange how much like a dude from New York like really leaned into like a Houston sound. Like he made he just took the South and like just mixed that gritty New York into it.
Yeah, it was something that like, man, I remember just still listening to it with my homies, you know, like the way they changed the culture of like us listening to hip hop, especially because that sound, it was so still like in the old school rap wave, like they hadn't like kind of like evolved into like the new hip hop, you know,
as like after mumble rap, how people called it that weird like Lil Pump, early Lil Yachty, that era. A lot of those dudes either like fizzled out or like got really good at making their sound, and then like kind of like you could see they grew as rappers. And I think that's why we have the kind of sounds we got today.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, but a lot of rappers fail. I think there's only a few. I mean, Yachty was probably the only one. Lil Pump hasn't really made music anymore. Yeah. And like out of the mumble rappers, there's not really that many. I mean, Uzi.
Yachty, Uzi. You count Cardi?
Yeah, Cardi. I mean, I never understood anything he says, so
Yeah,
I guess it counts as a.
Three of them became like huge, but you're right. A lot of them did kind of fizzle. Smoke Perp, I think, tried to come back a couple months ago, but I don't really pay attention to him.
Nah, I never really listened to his music, to be honest, like that. Like I don't know how to say it, but like I'm a casual like I love hip hop and I listen to it a lot, but like I don't go deep into other artists. You know, I listen to what everybody's listening to. You know?
Yeah.
There's a few artists that like obviously that I kind of like find when they're blowing up, but I'm too.
Take a day and just like start clicking on names you don't recognize, bro. You'll find something that you'll just be like in love with, some like shit you'll be like enamored by, because like there's always someone making music for exactly who you are. I feel like there's so many people rapping nowadays.
I mean, when I was younger, it was different because I had time to do it, bro.
That's true.
And that's when I remember finding Chance the Rapper when he was barely blowing up. Like nobody even hardly ever listened to him, especially because he was mostly people from Chicago.
Yep.
That listened to that type of sound. But like listen to always, and then when he dropped Acid Rap, that was like my favorite.
Bro.
Pretty much mixtape for a while. That was my favorite mixtape.
I remember when he dropped Acid Rap, because was it Acid Rap? Yeah, Acid Rap, because I was on a field trip for my Japanese class. We went to like some sort of like a museum or some shit like that. We stopped at like Japanese food right after, so I was having a great day. Then I get to school or get back to the school because they made us leave our phones, and I see that it's out. I was turned.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, man. And then he ended up dropping it on Apple Music, but I forgot what song was the one that wasn't able to be allowed on there. Juice, right? Yeah, Juice. It was one of the big ones, which is crazy. I don't even know why.
Samples. Yeah.
What is that? Do you know like why?
What was the sample?
Yeah, like what is the sample that is not?
I don't remember, but I guess he couldn't clear it initially because I think now though because he re-released it for like the 10-year anniversary. I think it's on there now.
Oh, okay.
But like before it wasn't. But I don't know.
That's stuff in the music industry that I don't even get, and I don't even want to like look into it because I'm not an artist, so I'm not gonna.
Bro, it's honestly like it's better that way. Like there's so much weird shit. Like me and Pip, we sampled a Weezer song, and we're just like looking at it like, what do we do with this? Because it sounds really cool, and I think it would like really like people would really connect with it. But like, how do I release it in a way that doesn't get me like copywritten? Yeah. Like I could do SoundCloud, but then how many people really like jumping on a SoundCloud nowadays? I could just like do a YouTube video, but then I'm like thinking, what revenue can I pull in from that? Unless it just makes people like pay attention, which that's a win within itself. So I don't know.
Well, then it samples is kind of like I don't know how you could. That's what I'm saying, like copyrighted and stuff. Like how much of you have to mix it around in order for it not to be.
I think if they can discern it, they can claim it. They can like say like if they can tell that you sampled their record and they're not getting like paid for it, they'll be able to like say like nah, that's it, pull it down.
That's crazy to me, man. Because sometimes it doesn't even sound like nothing like the actual original. There's some songs that like Kanye's the best at sampling and shit. So, but sometimes like they go to the original song and I'm like, bro, it's that.
You can't hear. Like, what did you do to get it from point A to point B? Like, how did you do that?
So like that's why I'm like, how could you tell that it's that sample? You know.
I feel like AI is playing a part in that shit too. At some point, like, it's able to just like peel apart music like mechanically. It'll hear it, but like, I feel like if a sample is like not discernible, like you're talking about, I feel like that's free. That should be free game.
Yeah.
But if you sample something like a classic record and everyone knows the record, you got to break them off something for that. But if I could do it, I would split it in the middle down like that. Like if you flipped it so much I don't even hear what I thought I would hear, you made a new thing.
Shit, Jack Harlow's the best at that shit, bro. He's been sampling
his beat selection's great.
Yeah. But I feel like he's also, I mean, Jack Harlow is good. He's decent as a rapper, but sometimes I feel like most of his big songs is because of the samples he is using, you know?
I think he's gonna be around for a minute. He gives me that vibe. Like he's
smart and
exactly.
It's an industry plan, bro. I mean, they try to say that about the white
shit.
Girl,
come plant me. I'll go.
You know, have you seen the girl that they've been harassing on the white girl, the one that did the podcast with Drake?
Oh, Bobby, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah, they're calling her the biggest podcast plant.
Yeah, I was like, bro. I feel like she's not a industry plant in a way, but she does benefit from the people she knows, you know.
I think she was smart.
Yeah.
Because she had I seen her like maybe like a year or so ago on TikTok, like just like being funny, like with her, she calls her baby like concrete or something like that. Like she just does the stale face shit that she does in the interviews, but like has been like doing that as a TikTok character for a minute. So I think a bunch of people are already on her, and then she just like parlayed that with some business and got like her podcast like set up, because like it just seemed like too much happened that we didn't see. So she either like got a great investor or she was just smart.
Yeah. But and then some people, bro, online, like I've been seeing comments, they be having the weird, crazy stories about her too. You know, it's like, how can you actually confirm that that's true? You know?
Right.
Like some people saying that her husband's hella rich, or like, because I mean, for one of her first interviews with Mark Cuban, is like, how the fuck you gonna have a
how you know Mark?
Yeah, Mark Cuban. Like,
you got Mark sitting on the ground barefoot.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Like that shit just don't happen, bro. Like
no.
So I was like, shit. And then it came up to like, I think she said something about like $300 and stuff, and then about how she paid somebody $300 for them to make a connection with someone that knew Drake, and that's how the whole thing came about, the whole interview. But the people in the comments were like, don't come out like just handing out $300, because that's not all it takes, you know. Which I know, obviously, like for me as a podcaster, I'm like, bro, 300 is not what it takes to like get a big ass artist, you know.
Especially like how many degrees of separation like was this person that she gave the $300 to? Like,
yeah,
like that, I'm lost.
Yeah,
that
sounds saying, like
low.
the connection there, like there has to be something else.
She gave it to 40.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. So it's like, bro, like you gotta have connections, not just $300.
Swear.
That's gonna get you Drake on a fucking podcast, you know. What have you been dropping, or what are people are gonna expect from you anytime soon?
So far we have dropped 5 singles this year. I want to say Mojo Jojo is the first one, Slippin' is the next one, Exhausting, Hand of God. Oh no, we're about to drop a remix. That's gonna be number 5. But I got a lot of videos that I want to start putting together for like upcoming songs. I'm thinking there will be something that people will start hearing about actually in the next couple of days about a release. Yeah. So I'm gonna be dropping for the rest of the year.
Why'd you name that song "Hand of God"? Like, what's the meaning? Do you have a meaning, or is
it does? Yeah. I'm trying to think of a way to explain that. Like, you know, imagine someone just like saying "you got it" and just patting you on the back and pushing you forward, say "keep going." Like, it's that metaphorical feeling. I can't stop. I got the hand of God on my back. I can never back down. Like, you can't push me back because who's behind me?
Yeah, that's a good explanation, bro. I mean, I listened to the song and it's a good song too. So.
Thank you.
Did you? Cause I have YouTube, only YouTube music, so I was listening through all your music through just YouTube. I hate when my artist, obviously all my friends that are artists and stuff, they be sending me like their link for Spotify or for Apple Music. I'm like, bro, I don't have none of that. Like, I only have YouTube music, bro. Like,
I think Spotify has like the most users like ever, so like that's always my default assumption, that especially because everyone that has an iPhone is either going to mostly use Apple Music, and if they don't, it's Spotify. Is YouTube Music good?
YouTube Music, yeah. I mean, it's like any other streaming service. It's just I personally benefit from it because I watch a lot of YouTube. Okay. So especially when it comes to editing and all that, like learning all that shit. So I YouTube pretty much everything. And I hated the ads, so I got YouTube Premium, and YouTube Premium comes with YouTube Music. I
do have YouTube Premium. I just never use the YouTube Music.
Yeah. So you have it too. You just
I might need to check it out.
You just gotta log it into it. But I mean, I prefer it. I mean, I'm using it just because I already pay for it, so might as well use it, and I pay for other streaming services, you know. Which I'm probably gonna end up getting in Spotify soon, cause like so many people send me links to listen to their music, and sometimes like, oh no, it's not on YouTube Music. They don't upload it through YouTube Music, and I'm like, damn.
Because some distributors I don't think even will send it there sometimes.
Yeah, they don't. Not distributors. I think the big artists do. Most of them all do. Just because if you upload like your album to YouTube, it automatically goes into YouTube Music, which helps for like podcasts too. That's why like I'm always on the road, so listening to podcasts, like I can't really watch it.
Oh yeah.
So that's why like all the most main podcasts are on YouTube. So that's why I'm listening to it through YouTube Music.
That makes perfect sense actually.
That's why I prefer it, to be honest. But that's why I just don't rock with Apple or Spotify. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, you've been uploading everything to YouTube Music, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I put everything as many places I can put it.
That's good though, bro, because you gotta hit every place that you can get by from.
Every possible shot.
Because I've seen artists, bro. Trust me, I've seen artists that like I was talking to this other artist last week. He came from Houston. And one of his songs, like his first song dropped, hit 4 million views on YouTube.
His first song
ever dropped. Like he hadn't dropped anything and hit 4 million views.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was he does more Spanish music, but it was like rap Spanish music, but with the Houston flow. 'Cause he's from Houston. It was like with all the like the kind of like the zero type of beat. I don't even know all the zero like DJ Screw, like all that type of beats. He was dropping those.
And he's rapping in Spanish.
Yeah, and he's rapping in Spanish.
That's
and
tight.
It just went crazy.
Yeah,
Which now he doesn't even make that type of music. He makes more like Mexican music. And that's kind of what we talked about, like transition into different like genres.
Yeah.
Because you kind of build that fan base, like those 4 million views off of. People expect you to keep going on that wave, you know. But
I think as long as you shine through, like you can change out certain parts of a car, but at the end of the day, it's still gonna have 4 wheels. As long as like your 4 wheels are solid and your foundation is touching everyone, as many parts as you switch, they're still gonna lock in with you.
Do you have music that you like just straight up off the beat, like just straight up rap, like?
I have a couple songs like that. I haven't done a lot of that because it's just, I don't know. I did that a lot when I was younger, and then at one point it felt like I was trying to be like a lyrical miracle, like one of them dudes that like, and it's fun in the moment, but then it's like, I don't want to listen to this all the time and sit down and listen to it. What do I want to sit down and listen to all the time? Shit that just sounds pretty, just melodic shit. So I lean more into that.
But sometimes I think with music though, I don't know if you've seen this, but I feel like sometimes artists have to, not they don't have to, but those popular, the songs that go viral are always like dumbed down songs. Like you have to kind of dumb it down for the listener to kind of understand it. And that's a big mistake a lot of artists that are coming up try to make, that they try to, I don't know, make it too like the lyrics or the bars are too and it kind of doesn't translate with the listener, just because it's hard to keep up with it, especially with hip hop beats and stuff.
And the fact that like you kind of just you think in your own language. Like, you might have a dope ass bar that once you go on Genius and they tell them why it's dope, they'll be like, oh shit, that's awesome. But if you're not at the point where you can get on Genius and explain your shit and people watch it, it's just gonna go over their head and not connect.
Yeah,
I feel like you gotta like focus on, like, if you focus on the emotion, I think you'll always win, because like we're all emotional creatures regardless.
Yeah, and that is true, and that's something that like I always tell artists that are like barely blown up, and that like obviously somebody like I listen to their music and stuff, and I understand the bars, but sometimes I'm like, damn, the average listener won't like
catch it,
and like they won't enjoy it as much, you know, which that's why a lot of them don't end up blowing up, you know. What do you like? What genre would you describe your music then?
Hip hop, but like that's the core of it. Hip hop with a little bit of rock flavor, with a little bit of like just alternative kind of flavor. But it really just depends on the beat. Like, I'll have songs where I won't rap at all, I'll sing the entire time. I have songs where I won't sing at all, I'll rap the entire time. But it really just depends. Like, if I like the beat, and a lot of shit that I like has guitars in it, so it's like, it always kind of has that flavor to it. Or the drums, like the hard hitting drums that are super hip hop, like shit like that jumps out to me.
Yeah, because I was watching a podcast with Joe Budden, and he was freaking he always be ranting about everything, but like the definition of hip hop has gotten so it's just changed nowadays, that it's not the hip hop that you expect nowadays.
It's still out there though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen this TikTok where it's like the football locker room back in the 2000s, and some straight up hard ass rap, and then like NFL players nowadays, and it's just them doing the rap, and it's just like, bro, it's changed so much, bro. I was like, that shit had me laughing, because I was like,
no, that's dead ass. Because
I was like, damn it, like football like obviously transitioned to be like being hard and stuff, and like nowadays it's just like the total opposite. You got, well, shit, even me, like, I'm a Giants fan. I'm a New York Giants fan, and like I think after one win, they were listening to Glorilla, or they were listening to one of her songs, and they were all doing her dance.
That's funny.
And I was like, man, what the hell? I don't mind it. It's funny, you know, but it's just like, It's funny how it just changed like the whole culture.
It's just like, what y'all got going on?
Yeah, it's like, what y'all got going on, man? What is this?
I mean, that's funny. Hip hop is always. That's why I think it's gonna be around forever, because it's such a open-ended concept. Like a country song, there's like a typical like set of chords that you'll hear there that like will just kind of build that feeling. But like with hip hop, you could like take from any genre, like any kind of sound, and like just put the right drums on it, the right BPM. You can make anything with it. I think that's why it's gonna always be like around and be strong.
Do you think right now though I don't know, it's feel like a little stale when it comes to the hip hop?
I think it feels. I think right now we're in a transitional period.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the GOATs that we have, like Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, they're now in the position where they drop on their own time. So it's not like we're getting their albums every year and we're like, it's always a flush of great music. Now it's like, okay, who are the next niggas that are going to like kind of float up to that echelon? We have Uzi, Travis, like, what's his name? Dom Toliver. Like, there's a lot of people that are like kind of like going up, but like they're not at
with the level of Drake and
they're not there yet,
yeah.
but that's not saying they won't be. It's more just like we're in that transition. Like, as soon as those people bubble up and they kind of solidify themselves up there, you get a bunch of new young guys that are gonna bring a new kind of sound. I feel like.
But
I don't know.
But I don't see none of the artists that are like even now that are barely blown up that are in that level. You know, that how we expected Drake or how we view Drake or J. Cole or Kendrick at their time. You know.
Maybe there hasn't been a good enough album in a minute then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the last hip hop album that you like? Oh shit, this is a fucking masterpiece.
See, the last hip hop album, like pure hip hop.
Yeah, or yeah, I mean, yeah, just the rap game.
I want to say it might have been a Benny the Butcher album.
Benny the Butcher.
I'm trying to think of what it's called. It came out in 2020. I want to say, either that or 2021.
Yeah, I enjoyed that album a lot. That's actually true. That's one of the.
Damn, it's killing me. There's a song on there with Wayne, Big Sean, and Benny, and all three of them were just like rapping their asses off. And the thing, if you get a Wayne feature, he's not even gonna do it if you're not even in the conversation.
Yeah.
And that whole album is just high level rapping the entire time.
Did you like the Jit album?
Oh yeah. That one
was really good too. That was so underrated for that. I think what was it, last year?
Yeah, I think it was either last year or the year before, but I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was last year that it came out, and that was one of the
Cody Blue.
Yeah. He went off on that. What album? What is album? I can't think of any other album recently that like really. Did you like? I mean, a lot of people hated on it, but just because it was a really personal album. But did you like the Big Step, Mr. Morale, the Kendrick?
Yeah, heavy.
Yeah.
That album feels like almost like a documentary in the way that like you just get a lot of information and like it's just the tone is just constantly changing. I think that's one of those albums that like a year from now people are gonna go back to and be like, oh shit, he was on something. Because him and Baby Keem, even Drake with that dance album, they're kind of like they were shifting into like a different sound. I think might pop up more in like the coming years.
Yeah, I mean the Baby Keem and Kendrick song, the one that they kind of copied Drake's style.
Sticky.
With that. Yeah, Sticky. Yeah, that song was fire, bro. It's one of my favorite songs right now to listen to. Like when I'm just chilling at the car, like hyping. But yeah, that album was great to me. It was hella personal too for Kendrick. Like just if you really listen to the album, you see how much of his personal life and how he grew up that he really put into it. Which I mean, not all people are gonna relate to it. You know, it's just not for everybody. Especially because you expect those commercial hits from Kendrick that he's always dropped throughout the years, with his Damn album or like the To Pimp a Butterfly album too. Like all those albums, he always had like commercial songs, and like I feel like in this one, he didn't really do it for the commercial. It was just more like, let me do some.
It felt like a therapy album.
Yeah,
like he just like had a lot of shit over like his life that built up, and he just said, all right, addressing everything.
Who's your goal like between? I mean, obviously right now it's always like the Kendrick and Drake right now. So who's your preference between both of them?
Man, Drake.
Drake.
Like, I love Kendrick. I'm a huge Kendrick fan. They're up there for me, but like there's just no one that has set the precedent that gentleman has set. Like every album, every year, like he walks out the year with multiple hits almost every time.
But then you can say that about Kendrick too.
But how many years off we didn't hear from Kendrick for 4 years since Damn.
But honestly, I prefer that in an artist that the secrecy of.
I prefer that like in this, they're like how they pop up, but like when it comes to like the music, like if Kendrick dropped the entire time, like every time Drake dropped, Kendrick dropped, and they were both meeting the same level, my conversation might be different. But Drake dropped so many more times than Kendrick has in that time frame, and has been like every time walked out like, all right, got another couple plaques on the wall, and I just respect that.
Yeah, I mean, commercially wise, like obviously the numbers are always gonna be there for Drake, but as like somebody that just enjoys music and stuff and like the art of it, I don't know. I used to think Drake. Honestly, I always say Drake was the GOAT, but then like the older I got, the more I listened to Kendrick's music.
I went the other way.
You went the other way.
I was heavy on the Kendrick like side when I was younger, and then as I got older, I was just like, man.
You expect Drake the business.
I think it's like that's like when I look at where I want to be in 5 years, I want my name to be in the same conversation as that.
I mean, shit, that's the goal you gotta strive for, bro. It's a hard goal, but I mean, I think one thing that Drake always did good was link up with people that were in the hype. So like he's always stayed relevant, just because even if he wasn't dropping music on his own, he would collab with somebody's song, and again he's back into the same. He's always at the top, you know. He never fell for that. There was never a year where Drake was not like doing anything great, you know.
I'm trying to remember what song it was, but it came out like 2018. I think it was Block Boy, JB, and Drake.
Yeah.
But like that song came out. I think that that guy got signed like right after. But it's just like, damn, like you can put niggas on different labels just with a feature.
I mean, shit, Block Boy JB hasn't came out with anything anymore. Nobody listens to his music. I mean, shit, I think he even said that on the one with 21, the album with 21.
What?
That he said, like, I give you a feature and make it.
Yeah. I can make a label think they need you.
Yeah. What you think of that album?
That was one of my favorites last year.
For us, what would you prefer, that one or obviously the one? I mean, I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but the What a Time to Be Alive.
That's fucked up. You just put me against Childhood Malik. Shit. At the time, What a Time to Be Alive was like some of my favorite shit, because I think that dropped the day after like I went to a Mac Miller concert or some shit like that. It was just like
What a Time to Be Alive. Hell yeah.
Exactly. Honestly, I like Future more than I like 21, but 21 showed out on that album. I think I would have to go Her Loss. At least like that might be recency bias, but whew.
Really?
There are some joints on there though. But if I heard What a Time right now, I might switch, because Jumpman was crazy too. I don't know.
Like just I think What a Time to Be Alive was way better than that one. Not just because of like obviously we grew up with it when we're like it was like our childhood, you know.
Yeah.
Like we kind of grew up with that album, but you know what other collab album I always like beef with like my homies is the Watch the Throne, between Watch the Throne and What a Time to Be Alive.
Oh, Watch the Throne.
Watch the Throne.
I think so, man. They got Frank Ocean on there.
Yeah, that's true.
They got Frank Ocean.
Bro, I've always been a big fan of Frank, but man, he's disappointed me so many times this past few.
I just wish he would just put music out.
Yeah, man.
But his brother passed away, and I that's crazy. So like, I don't know. If my brother passed, I wouldn't be putting out music for a long time, probably.
Yeah.
Or I'd be putting out more than ever. If it's one or the other.
Yeah, that is true. But then it's like, damn, sometimes you just gotta move on, you know. The life keeps going, you know. It's just a lot of stuff happens that you can't just. I mean, he is already fucking rich, so he doesn't have.
He probably doesn't even want to at that point.
Yeah, so like.
Vince Staples.
But I think it not like if he stayed that way, then I wouldn't mind it. But like just in general, like the Coachella thing that happened, where like he was.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not gonna go at it 100%, like why even do it, you know?
Because it's probably money's not like a thing to him, I bet. So like, I wouldn't like if you don't feel like you can give your best show, don't do it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like why give all the people hope, you know, or like pay all those crazy tickets. I was supposed to go actually to Coachella 2020 pre-pandemic, so I had my VIP tickets. Everything,
you ready?
Because he was gonna perform that year.
Yeah.
And then it got canceled like the 2 weeks before.
COVID
that's when
and all that.
Everything closed down and everything. And then obviously this past year when he was gonna go, I just didn't go because I was like, I had other stuff. I had started like all these projects and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I didn't have time. But I mean, I was glad that I didn't buy those tickets because I was like, bro, I would have been so mad and disappointed.
They didn't refund people?
I don't think they did. Nah, because he did he didn't perform the second week, right? Yeah, he didn't.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He did perform the first week, but he didn't perform the second week. Which I mean, I don't know how that would go, you know, because it is a festival too, you know. So yeah, people could be like ask for a refund and you don't really know, but like maybe you weren't there to go see Frank, you know.
Exactly.
Why would we give you a refund? But I would, as a fan, because obviously I'm a big fan of Frank Ocean, I would have been so mad that like I wasted $1,000 or whatever.
And you saw like he was barely there.
Yeah, he was barely there, and like just the performance overall, it wasn't. I think he wasn't even really singing either. I think he was most of the time he was just like letting the
dancing.
Yeah, dancing and letting the music play. I'm like, damn, like, man, I could have just been at home listening to that shit. You know? Like,
with some good speakers and shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. You know what's crazy? I don't know. I forgot the name of that. The album that he dropped in order to get out of that record deal that he just dropped it on Apple Music.
Self. It was something with.
It was like the visual album.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. I took shrooms one time and I watched. I listened to it and watched it in my room, but I had a projector, so I had a big ass projector. In my room.
Was probably crazy.
And bro, I was tripping.
That was probably crazy.
I remember that. I don't know why it just came to my mind, but I did that one time.
And the songs on there are super like trippy too. Like the beats aren't standard. Like there's a lot of weird sounds on there. You're probably going crazy.
Yeah, and I remember. I don't know if you remember watching it, but it's just like black and white. It's like kind of like black and white because he's just moving around in like this. I guess I don't know what it was. It was like a studio or something.
He was building like stairs, right, or something.
I think he was. I can't remember, to be honest.
I think it was stairs.
It's been a while since I watched it, but it wasn't even that anymore. When I was on shrooms, I was just like watching figures and like it was just moving and everything. So it was crazy.
You saw a different video.
Yeah, to me it was something else already at that point when I was on shrooms. But listen to it. It was just trippy as fuck. I just remember. It was. I was young too, so I didn't really give a fuck. But Have you ever done shrooms or anything like that, or nah? You never explored that?
Only thing I've really done is smoke weed and drink, but I feel like that's not even like no one takes that like as like, oh, you're doing drugs anymore.
Yeah, nah, bro. Shrooms. I've never done. I've done acid one time, but like I would do shrooms. Like back in the day, I used to do them constantly all the time.
I was curious about them at one point.
Your mind, honestly, like it's crazy how crazy your mind is. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like it's so open to creativity after like kind of the downside of shrooms. You're just like, I don't know, you're just constantly working and creating something, like to create something.
Oh wow.
You're just overly thinking that. I guess that's why like I don't know, a lot of artists have done them.
Yeah.
But I mean I wouldn't say I would recommend it because I would never recommend anybody to do drugs. But it is
that you flagged.
It is a weird feeling, you know, that you have after it. I don't know, it's just weird to explain, bro. But
I would be so much more open to trying it if I like didn't like it. I could just turn it off, but like that's not how it works. You got to run that course.
That's the reason I don't like edibles, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like every edible I've had has either done nothing or too much. Like I remember one. This is the funniest shit ever. I was watching a Dave Chappelle special. Thought it was the funniest shit ever. I did not laugh out loud once. I was stuck.
Yeah, I've been there, bro. Shit, I went to the hospital one time because I was too high. And that only because I was panicking because I was like, bro, I can't move.
You think you're gonna die?
Yeah, I literally thought but I had taken way too much because I didn't know the dosage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you never really know. And people always
was it someone
like, even with
someone made it for you or you bought it from somewhere?
No, you from a smoke shop.
Oh, okay.
But even my friend, because he works in that industry and all that in Colorado, he says you never really know how much of a dosage. Like they just put that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I didn't say his name, so I can't get him in trouble. They don't really actually know how much you're putting into it.
That's crazy. So that's why it's always different.
Like, huh?
That's why it's always different.
That's why it's always different. Yeah. Even if you buy them from like legit shops and stuff, sometimes you feel it get high. But if you eat like one or two more, and then you're like, oh fuck,
I'm in a different place now.
Yeah, different place now. So that's why you never really know the amount of dosage you're taking.
I have a friend that. We had a party. This was back when I lived in Pittsburgh, and I'm not going to say his name, but I'm going to make sure I send this to him so he can get the laugh out of this. We having a party, and it's at my house.
Yeah.
And I pick him up, and he goes, hey, let's drive by so-and-so's house. He's right next to you. I want to pick up a brownie. I said, that's cool, but we have to have an understanding that you're not going to eat that entire brownie at my house. And he says, Malik, I would never do that. And I say, man, thank you. I'm glad we had this conversation. He grabs the brownie. We go in my house. I'm greeting people, talking. I go in the kitchen to grab some beer. And this motherfucker's like, chocolate on his lips, turned around, munching. I just hear like that squish sound of someone chewing. Yeah. I said, yo, look at me. He spins around. I see all the chocolate. I said, whatever.
You're already licking his.
Oh man, it was bad too. So we're in the living room all talking. He's sitting down in the corner, and I'm watching him ascend like a plane. Like I see, like his eyes are glassing over. I see all of it happening in real time, and he just blurts out loud and goes, "Where I am right now is not where I'm gonna be in 5 minutes." And I just stared at him and go, all right, you need to go lay down.
The hell no, bro. I've seen that like with my homies, you know. But it's crazy, man. Taking edibles, I've always, bro. I stopped doing it like a while back because I was like, I can't do it anymore, bro. Edibles. I think that when I went to a hospital, that's the last.
That was it.
Yeah, I was like, bro. Especially because I was so high, but like I could still, you still remember everything even when you're high. Like, I remember seeing the fucking firefighters, because obviously when you call the ambulance, it's just like, I don't know if it's like firefighters and stuff. It's always
like emergency response.
Yeah, the whole emergency response. They were looking at me. They were like laughing at me because they could tell I was so out of it. I was like, fuck. I was like, they know I'm high as fuck. Like, and then the bills came in like a month later. I'm like, fuck.
I did this for edibles.
Yeah, I was like, but I was tripping so much, bro, because I think I had taken like excessive amount. I think it was like 1,000, what is it, milligrams? Or
yeah, how long did you sleep?
Bro, I couldn't sleep. That's the thing.
You couldn't sleep?
I couldn't sleep. Like, my eyes were just like so like down, but like I was just like passing out. I don't know, but like I kept waking up because my heart was beating so much.
Holy shit.
I was like, I don't even know what the fuck. Like, it was just, I think all they did to me is like they gave me like hydration drink because I was like so thirsty and stuff, but I don't even remember, bro. But I was just like, that last time I'm doing
triggered the fight or flight all the way.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never doing edibles after this. I was gonna ask you, bro, because there's something obviously. I just recently, I don't know if do you watch a lot of movies at all, like, or you're not really into it? Like,
yes and no. Like my girl is like heavy like on the TV grind, so I'm always seeing things.
Are you a big Marvel fan?
Yeah. Actually.
Okay, so I never understood like what like Black Panther meant to like black people back in the day when it came out, you know? Because I was like, I mean, it is like part of the culture and stuff, you know, but like I never understood the hype of like the amount of happiness it made them because of a black what's it called, superhero, until recently. Obviously Blue Beetle dropped recently, and I don't know if you know, it's
he's
the
Hispanic,
first Mexican superhero, but first, I guess, Latin superhero, you'll call it.
That's tight.
And bro, just watching the movie in general, just because the movie's so heavily cultured of the Mexican culture or just the Latin culture in general, I was just like, bro, like now I get it. Like after the movie, everything, like my thoughts of it and everything, I was like, now I get what like black people felt when like Black Panther, like all the hype around it, you know?
It would have been even cooler if it was like tied to like a realer culture, because like the Wakanda stuff, it's like it's a fictional place, but I don't know how much of that they pull from other real cultures, but it was just dope as hell. Because like if I saw that as a little boy, because I grew up on like Spider-Man, like the first like original Spider-Man movies, like Tobey Maguire, or not Maguire,
it was Tobey Maguire.
Okay, those movies were like my grail. Like I was in the crib doing this shit, trying to like fly around. Yeah. And if I saw a black guy doing that as a kid, I'd be like, oh man,
that's fucking dope.
I really can be like a hero. Like on the. So for the young kids that saw that, I'm sure that like had some impact for them. That like put the battery in their back in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Blue Beetle actually with like 3 little kids that were right beside me, because that theater was packed that day, and they were all like, man, I could see like the joy in their faces when they were watching the movie. I was like, damn, that's dope as fuck.
Just so anything is possible.
Like,
within
obviously,
reason.
then like I would say like when you watch movies, like especially for Hispanics, there's not really that much of a representation in the big theaters for us. Really? But like watching that, like, and there's I don't know if you watched the movie, but if you do watch it, there's a lot of stuff that I honestly don't think the American culture, like white people or like black people, are gonna get, that are like jokes that are like only like Mexican people will know.
Right.
You know? Which I mean, it's cool, but like it also shows like our culture, you know. It shows the way we live, especially with family and stuff, being like close together.
Close,
and stuff. Which it was super dope, man. Just seeing it, and obviously it sucks that it wasn't a box office hit because of
it wasn't.
It wasn't because they couldn't promote it at all. So like
I thought that one was gonna do well too.
So it would have done well if it was promoted, but it couldn't get promoted by none of the actors, nobody. So like there was no promotion for it because of the writers on strike. They're all part of the same organization. So because they're on strike, the actors had to kind of like
rally behind them.
Yeah, rally behind them. So none of them, like even to this day, the main actor, Cholo, he only put the trailer out. That's it. But other than that, he didn't even talk about it in any
That's crazy.
Like he has his own podcast too, and he didn't even talk about it at all in his own podcast.
He talks regularly on the internet and hasn't had that. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, you know, but honestly, I feel like it's still doing good though.
Absolutely.
Overall, just because, and even me, like I help promote it because obviously I love Black Panther. Like that was one of my favorite movies too, especially the most recent one with I don't know if you saw it, with there's also a Mexican dude there, you know. So, yeah, R.I.P. Boy
Chadwick, man.
Chad, man, it sucks, but I feel like I loved how they transitioned into to the new generation.
They made us feel like we lost him too. I mean,
hell yeah,
he's
bro.
a real person that passed, but like, damn, like I felt like I was like in the theater with them, just like
that last scene when they came out that he had a kid. I was like, damn, that's crazy. I was like, so now they transitioned to like now I feel like that kid is gonna be the new Black Panther, you know. Which they're gonna take a while for them to build up a new Black Panther.
Because they got Shuri right now.
Yeah, Shuri right now, but I think eventually she's gonna pass it on to that kid, which they're gonna eventually probably gonna be a new actor, you know.
What is her name? Latoya?
I think so, yeah.
Shout out to Latoya. She's from Guyana. That's where my family's from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, South America.
Yeah, she played a really good part too.
She smoked it. Every movie she smoked it.
Yeah, it was a good movie, but I don't know how they're gonna transition into it, the new Black Panther.
I hope they don't kill her off, and that's how they do it. I think she'd be cool if she just trains him, and it's just like, I want to be a scientist, bro. Here you go.
Yeah. But Marvel 2 has been disappointing me lately, bro. Like I don't know, like they've been. I don't know, like the whole new, like Black Panther was probably the recent one, the most newest one. That's probably the only good project that they dropped.
Have you seen any of the shows they put on the Disney Plus?
I've seen some, like the one with Samuel Jackson, Green. I forgot what's it called. Invasion, something Green Invasion or something.
I didn't see that one. There's one on there.
That one tanked nasty, bro. Like like the viewership just kept dropping. So that like even nobody was watching it. Like it was very few people were watching the season finale.
They need to do there's gonna be another season of Loki. That was really good.
Yeah, Loki was funny. But like sometimes also they fired a lot of their good writers too.
They fired a lot of good writers, and then just like Tony Stark is gone. Like that was like the heart of the MCU. Like RDJ is one of the funniest actors. He's charismatic, and I would have begged him, whatever you need to stay on this movie, bro.
But then you kind of like, the thing is they made all the great movies with all the main characters of the Marvel. You know, everybody that we love. Now they're trying to do the movies with the kind of the side.
I think it'll work if they pick the right people. As long as the actor can like connect, because it's all cool shit, you know.
Yeah, but then they kind of like the storylines kind of get the same, you know. It's always been the same thing, so it's I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, now that I forgot his name, but the director, that one that was for Guardians of the Galaxy, now he's the main guy for DC.
James Gunn, right?
Yeah, James Gunn. I feel like he's gonna change DC, and now DC is gonna get to that level.
They're gonna take over.
Yeah.
Did he do Blue Beetle?
He didn't do Blue Beetle, but he approved it because he liked it so much.
Because I heard it was gonna be. It's like supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it is, bro. It's actually like the ratings. I mean, you see the ratings. It's like 90, like around Tomatoes and
so
stuff.
It's just not like a lot of people have seen it, but everyone that has seen it loves it.
Yeah. So like, it sucks. Like I said, because it wasn't promoted as much worldwide. But I mean, it's still. I feel like it's one of those movies that obviously is gonna keep the hype up on it.
Yeah. I think what's probably gonna happen is because I know they're doing a lot of new stuff because he's in charge now. They'll probably just bring the actor on and just do another movie as if that just didn't happen.
What did you think of the Robert Pattinson playing Batman?
That was sick.
Did you like that movie?
Bro, it was cool because he looked like he was not good at his job yet.
Yeah.
Like you could tell like he was getting his ass whooped still.
Yeah, the rawness of it was what made me enjoy it, bro. Because obviously all the Batman movies, obviously with Christian Bale, they showed a little bit part of it when he was barely training, you know, in the first movie. But this one, there's more rawness to it, where like he got his ass whooped too. Like
it felt like in the old movies they didn't spend a lot of time in the early Batman, and this whole movie was just this nigga's rich.
And he don't know what the fuck.
He gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Like him getting like when they were he jumped the dudes in the subway.
Yeah.
And the first dude like whacked him twice.
Yeah.
And then he hit him. Why did you do that?
Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck. I think even the jumpsuit made me laugh. The one like the jumpsuit he flew out with whenever he was at the, it was just like a straight up regular ass jumpsuit. You know, it wasn't even like no.
Because he didn't have the branding figured out yet.
You don't got the cool designer that got that shit. That who did they use on? Fuck, what's his name? That Morgan Freeman. He don't got Morgan Freeman using. You know how they on.
He was like making the outfits for him.
For him, yeah.
Man, Morgan Freeman, man.
But I'm looking forward to it though. Honestly, like I don't know, like what. It's a weird. DC's in a weird stage, you know. You don't know what they're gonna do with it, especially. What's his name again? James
Gunn, yeah.
James Gunn. I don't know what he's gonna do if that Batman is just a different storyline or.
I think that one sadly is not gonna get continued. I don't. It might be wrong, but like, I feel like they're doing so many different movies with so many different people. Like, if they want to make a universe, they gotta like start writing some names in stone and start bringing shit together.
They have to put Robert Pattinson because that movie.
He smoked it.
Yeah, even like the characters, like the side characters, like Penguin played. Like I don't know if you saw his transition of like from the actor to the whole Penguin thing. I was like, bro, that's fucking. It was so good, and even the Joker, they kind of like hinted like at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, the Joker looks good. So I'm hoping they keep continuing, you know, and then they added on to that DC because obviously Robert Pattinson is young too, so he can play him for a few years.
I didn't see the Flash movie, but I heard it was
bad, bro.
You saw it?
Yeah, it was bad.
I heard it was bad.
Even the whole CGI, everything, like just what they used, it was
the effects look rough, bro.
Even him running, like that shit looked like he was running in slow
treadmill.
motion or like on a treadmill. I was like, bro, what is this? Like,
especially because the Flash is supposed to be so cool.
Yeah, shit. I think the CW Flash was way better than
I heard that,
movie,
and
so.
that you can't. If your movie is losing to the CW, you got to look at in the mirror, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's why they brought the James, bro. So hopefully they change it, you know, culture. Because I love DC. I don't know what's your preference of DC and Marvel.
I don't know if I have an all the way a preference because I will say this. I like the Justice League, but like, I love Spider-Man, like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, I probably like Marvel more, but I think DC has a lot of cooler like random ass side characters, like Green Lantern, the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, they have a lot of darker characters.
Yeah.
Bro, that, like as adults, we will probably enjoy way more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marvel has very few that have that. Only Deadpool maybe is the only one that.
He's a little over the top sometimes.
Yeah, he's a little over the top, but I mean, he plays his character. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds plays that character to the T like that. He was.
I feel like that's just Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
like he's just a goofy motherfucker.
Yeah, but shit, there's a lot of. Hopefully, we get to as fans, bro. We get to enjoy a lot of these. Because like I don't know. I just didn't enjoy none of the shows they've dropped recently. But hopefully. They come out with some new ones.
Yeah.
Anything else before we close out, man, that you want to shout out to your people that listen to you that will watch this podcast?
If you are watching this right now, screenshot this moment and send it to me, and I'll send you a song or something. We'll figure it out when you see this.
Bet.
Shout out to Rob, Healthy Habit. Shout out to Pip. Shout out to Smooth Vega. Everyone rocking with me now. Thank you. And thank you for coming with me forward. You know, we're gonna do a lot of great music this year and next year and so forth. So stick with me.
Well, where can they find you? What's your Instagram?
On Instagram, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on literally every social media. It's Fathom with 3 A's. FAAATHOM.
All right, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.